So I've got a ton of emails, and they seem to be from people who don't really know what drifting is, but somehow come upon my channel about drifting a front-wheel drive car. Front-wheel drive drifting is not drifting. It's dragging ass. You just pull the handbrake, you slide it. Drifting is using the power and the rear tires to control the drift and slide through it. So if you have a front-wheel drive car and you're pulling the e-brake and you're drifting, you're not. Don't fool yourself. You suck. Get a rear-wheel drive car and go have some fun. But the reality of it is there's a ton of people that want to see it, so why not put a video together and try to do that. So today we have a Mazda 3. We're going to go out and teach you guys how to drift a front-wheel drive car here at the School of Drift. So with a front-wheel drive car, you cannot use the gas to control the slide at all. The gas actually removes angle from the drift, right? So while you're coming in and you're pulling the handbrake, because 9 times out of 10 your car's automatic and you won't have to worry about it, because if you have a front-wheel drive car you're trying to drift, you're probably not a sporty guy. So automatic car, that's what we got. Pulling with the handbrake. For entry speed, you want to go faster than you would with a normal rear-wheel drive car, because you can always use the brakes and you're going to be using the handbrake to slow down, and you cannot use the throttle to pull yourself through the drift. As you start stepping on the throttle, all it's going to do is remove angle. So you have to get all of your speed going in the beginning of the drift to make it happen. So basically what you're going to do is drive into the turn, pull the handbrake, drop your left hand down or right hand down depending on which direction the turn is. So you're steering into the turn, you're pulling the handbrake, you're getting the car sideways. Now you're basically just holding the handbrake, letting the car slide sideways until you get to the start of the turn where you can step on the throttle. You're still holding that handbrake the entire time, and when you step on the throttle, it'll drive you straight into the turn. So you're handbraking in about, 100 feet before the turn, 75 feet before the turn at 50 miles an hour. You handbrake in, get sideways, and the minute you're pointed at the direction you need to go, or the place you need to be, that's when you step on the throttle and pick up the gas. So like I was saying, you're going to drive into this turn and you're going to pull the handbrake and pull your left hand down. Because it's a left-hand turn, you're steering your left hand down to rotate the car. As the car is rotating on the handbrake, you're holding the handbrake and you're not letting go, and you're counter steering the car back to match the amount of angle that you're adding, right? So you can always throw it in too hard. As soon as you get to too much angle, you can just step on the gas, or you can release the handbrake and that will take away some angle. I always prefer to just leave the handbrake on and start using the throttle to drive myself through the turn. So here we go. So we're gonna drive in with our handbrake, get ready, steer left and pull the handbrake, holding the handbrake and then floor it to pull yourself out of drift. So you saw I just got on the throttle to drive out of the turn, to go towards the inside of the turn, like where the apex would be. And as it starts driving through and goes where I need it to, then I can drop the handbrake. That's how you drift a turn in a front-wheel drive car. Again, it's not really drifting. You're just kind of pulling the handbrake and letting it slide and dragging the ass around. That way, when you get to where you need to, you can use the front tires to throw it out. But it's good for like practicing initiations and whatnot. All right, so if you're gonna spin out, like you throw it in too hard and you're gonna spin, all you have to do is drop the handbrake and pick the throttle up. As soon as you drop the handbrake, the car will start rotating back and the throttle will drive you forward out of it. If you can just drop the handbrake, that might work too, but usually when you do that, your car will actually hook and go straight, could go the other direction. The easiest way is to step on the gas, then drop the handbrake down, and more than likely you'll be driving directly where the front wheels are aiming. So as you're coming in and you're on that handbrake and you're setting up for the turn, while you're on the handbrake, you're counter steering the front of the car. Just a little bit though, not as much as you would with a rear wheel drive car. You're just counter steering it enough so when you pick the throttle up, it'll actually drive out of it and you're not actually in steering towards the drift. All right, so let's give it a shot. so with a right hand turn, you can do the same thing, but instead of dropping your left hand, you're gonna lift up your left hand and pull the handbrake at the same time. So you're pulling that handbrake, you're lifting that hand up, getting the car to go sideways, and you're holding that handbrake all the way up with the rear tires locked completely, all the way until your nose is passing the apex. As soon as it's passing the apex, then you can step on the gas, drive forward, and once you've been driving forward to where you need to be, then you can lower the handbrake. The later you lower the handbrake, the smoother it will be, but the slower you'll go speed-wise. So let's do some right-handers. May or may not be flat spotting these babies. That's one thing you're definitely going to want to pay attention to in a front wheel drive car. You're going to use the handbrake so much, you're going to destroy your rear tires basically immediately, and then you're going to be driving by braille down the road. It's going to be like shaking like crazy. But anyways, so moving into the backwards entries. Front wheel drive cars are the easiest cars to do backwards entries in, much easier than rear wheel drive cars, because the front having extra power, or having all of the power, you can pull out of the drift whenever you want. So you can literally go 180 degrees backwards with the car at full lock, step on the gas, and it will pull you out of drift immediately. A lot of doing a backwards entry, just like in a rear wheel drive car, is the timing. So basically what you want to do is just like we've been doing in the past with the left and right hand turn, but you want to go as fast as you can physically go into the turn and pull the handbrake. You're going to pull the handbrake, get the car to go over 90 degrees, so your head looking back towards it, like in this car I'm looking out the back window, and you're just going to hold the handbrake and wait. And you're just not picking up the throttle, you're not doing anything, you're just waiting until you're coming up to that apex or that beginning of the turn. And then same thing, you're picking up the throttle. And at any point, if you feel like you're over rotating or you're going too wide, like on this left-hand turn, if you're going too far driver right, then you can just tap the throttle a little bit, it'll pull you in, and it'll also reduce a little bit of angle. So let's go try to do some backies. Fast enough. I need to go faster. So that's front wheel drive drifting. Like I said, it's not really drifting, you're more just entering into the turn and sliding. You can continuously drift turns at low angle by repetitively ripping the handbrake. You know, there's much more things you can do to keep it more like drifting, but again, it's initially the same thing. I mean, you're just going around, you're pulling the handbrake, you're getting the car sideways. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun in this thing, hucking it backwards at like 70 miles an hour into the first turn and trying to do as many backies as we can. But without having that extra little bit of power, and all of the power being to the rear wheels, we cannot extend through this first turn without just basically holding the handbrake all the way through. And doing a big entry like we were just doing makes it nearly impossible to continue drifting all the way through. As far as the front wheel drive car setup, this car just has 30 pounds in the front and back tire pressure. You could potentially put like 80 or 90 pounds in the back tire, so when you let off the handbrake, it'll continue to slide a little bit. But I know most of you guys are going to be jumping in rental cars and doing this, so let's not do that. My friend Sean was nice enough to lend us this car for this day to do this. We put our drift school tires on there, so we were able to do it with this without getting a rental and having some problems with that, but I can't tell you what to do and what not to do. Enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. I know it's kind of a silly video, but that was kind of the point. Do something different and, you know, see what people like. See you guys.